do you think about musicians when it comes to a point to, I mean, for athletes, their coaches or their owners will kind of make that decision for them for the most part. You know, like Peyton could go another year if he wanted to, but, you know, for musicians and singers, I think a lot of times you have to make that call. You know, and I've seen it both ways. Like, I was thinking about it this morning because Anne Murray came in to talk about her book, and I used to love her singing. You know,
it was my dad's favorite. He was crazy about her.
And I said, you know, I said, are you singing at all anymore? She goes, no, I'm done. She goes, I said, I mean, for like charities or anything, I mean, you got so many people love that voice of yours. She said, yeah, but she said, it's that voice that you remember is not the voice that I have now.
Yeah.
And she said, I don't want people to hear me sing like this. She goes, because I was really proud of my voice when it was what it was. And then I think about Les Paul, you know, and how just
every week.
Yeah, and just to be in the same room with him. And obviously he would try and do those things that he could really do when he could really do. Yeah. But still, it was cool just to be in his presence and the bit that he could for those of us that had heard him, even had his records and stuff. But I wondered about people that just knew that iconic name and had never heard him play. And, you know, I look around the room sometimes and go, God, I hope you know, what you missed or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I kind of feel like I'm not too, I think common sense would tell you that, yeah, I'm 80 years old. I can't sing like I could when I was 40, but I don't want to rob myself of the joy of doing it, even though it's not to the level that you once did. I just sang on a new Merle Haggard record and sang a bunch of backgrounds and harmony stuff. And his voice doesn't sound like he did when he was singing Mama Tried and all those great, soaring, beautiful songs, but the character that it has and the edge that it has, it's a different kind of compelling, but equally compelling, So I'm for hanging in there. I get it when somebody doesn't want to. I saw Jeannie Pruitt the other day. She came down to see the Time Jumpers at 3rd and Lindsley, and she walked away. She says, I don't think I can cut it like I used to. And she walked away, and she was fine with it. I think it's totally up to that individual.
Yeah, and Barbara Mandrell and Carl Smith, and, we all know those that we would have, I think for selfish reasons, would have liked to have heard them hang around.
But man, it's too much a part of my DNA.
Yeah.
I got a feeling, I'm going to be 59, and my voice is as strong and maybe even better than it's ever been. So I feel like I'm going to have a lot of years of being in good voice, I hope, and you never know. Bus could hit me when I'm leaving here.
Sweet, beautiful voice. I mean, I'm like Rod Stewart. They're not going to know when I'm hoarse or can't sing anymore.
They say about Bill Anderson, I got a little cold. How can you tell?
and I think to your point, what Willie's is there for sure, and Cash was the classic example. What'd you think about the music he was cutting at the end? Those songs.
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
He never the difference in I think you talk about Peyton and an athlete, what they do versus someone that's creative. We don't necessarily use our body to that extreme. We do if we're a musician or what have you, but the voice is like a muscle and it can stay strong. But I think everybody eventually loses. I think more than anything, especially with a singer, they can't breathe as deep and they don't have the lung capacity as they get older. But every now and then, you see somebody. Hank Lachlan was one that he kept his voice till the day he died.
Really?
He would be like 92.
Wow.
And he could sing in the same keys, and you never heard it change one ounce, But, you're using your mind, you're using your brain. And the great thing is, like, noticing how Merle sang when I was working with him, he knew what he could and couldn't do. And there's the key, I think it's okay to lower a key a couple steps if you need to. I do it all the time. If I'm sick, I get sick and my voice gets really low and I start sounding like Barry White, and it's really weird. I call Amy and leave a bunch of dirty messages when I get sick. but
Jared Neiman said that, when he was doing Lover Lover and he did like 9 parts on that record. He said he just couldn't do the bass part, and he started calling around and he couldn't get anybody, and he said only time he sounded like that was when he had too much to drink the night before. So he went down to Tin Roof and he overserved himself. He got up the morning, went straight to the studio, and he said it worked perfectly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Haggard, I remember he did like our last 2 weeks when Ronnie and I did our last rodeo tour. And of course, he would never, we went and sang with him every night on stage, but during his set, but he would tell us what he wanted us to sing, but it was never Silver Wings or Mama Tried or something we knew. He would always find the most obscure thing he could think of just to make us grieve all day, trying to figure it out.
Oh man. Well,
and I was having trouble with the harmony part. I went on this bus one night and I said, all right, you got to help me with this real quick. And he's sitting there looking out the window. We were in Woodstock, New York, and had a sold-out crowd. And he goes, what are you doing, man? I go, what do you mean, what am I doing? He goes, look at all those people. I mean, why are you quitting? I mean, look at them. Look at them out there. I said, Merle, you and Willie made one freaking record and you quit. I said, me and Ronnie stuck it out 20 years. Are you kidding me? Shut up. I'll go figure this harmony part out by myself. He's awesome, though, man. I love hanging with him.
Yeah.
And
he's one of those people that you can tell it's so much a part of him. There's no way he couldn't be musical. I'd rather die than not be musical. And so, to me, it seems like it's not the results that are going to dictate whether I'm going to do this or not. I think I always go back to the days, why'd you ever learn to do this in the first place? It's because you loved it, and that's enough for me. The results I can't control at any point, so don't sweat that.
A lot of cool songs here. You got some co-writes. You wrote a lot of this by yourself. Probably my favorite song on the album you wrote for Jones, I guess. Feel a Sad One Coming On. And I love the sentiment of it. And I think any of us that have ever written a song, you get in a mood and, you just pick it up to get that off your chest. But the way you wrote it's really cool.
Well, thanks. It was simple in a way because all you really had to do was tell his truth in a song like that, and that's apparent. What I loved most about that dude was no matter how bad he screwed up, he owned it. He didn't run from it. He didn't try to deny it. He said, yeah, I did it. I didn't show up. I was hammered. I did drive that car into a bridge. Whatever it was, he never ran from it. And it's a great testament to how great he is and was the fact that no matter what he did, everybody still embraced him and forgave him for it. Because we just, if you hadn't have been that great, if you hadn't have been one of the greatest country singers in the world, they'd have ran your ass off a long time ago. Trust me. But it's just a testament to his greatness.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, it's a new record for me, and that's the only country song on the record. I did Bakersfield with Paul Franklin, the great steel guitar player, which I know you know.
Great album, sure.
And we honored Buck and Merle and some of that Bakersfield stuff.
Yeah.
And I get to really scratch a traditional side of things with the Time Jumpers, and we got a new record coming out in the summer, and I've got, I think, 7 or 8 songs that are just dirt country, and so I felt free to go rock a little bit, play the blues a little bit, whatever you wanted, and not be so hell-bent on making a traditional record, but just writing some songs and see what turned up.
Yeah. And it kind of feels, I read somewhere 2 years making this record. Is that right?
Yeah. Not because I was trying to, but just because life got in the way. And you'd have to tour and do those things. And then Ashley Monroe record, The Blade, was in the middle of this.
Great record.
Oh, isn't that
People
cool?
don't
She's
know
so
you
good.
produce, and it's great. And I asked you about it, and said how good it was, and you said, just get out of the way.
Stay out of the way, man.
Yeah.
Watch her sing and write those songs.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that it's, as you know, when somebody is that gifted, it's undeniable. And really, you don't have to do much because it's all there. It's all there on the page, with a great song and a really unique voice, an original voice. And that's the kind of things that you kind of, I've always been drawn to. Not the person that emulated everybody else and sounded like the current crop or this or that, but the ones that really stand out compelling.
She is an artist. I've known her. You know, Clarence was manager when she was 13 or
I know,
something.
yeah.
So she's been around our office for a long time, and
I
I've
know.
gotten her to sing on a few things. And it is one of those voices that just isn't a good voice. But when you said earlier about your mind and your voice and the things that are engaged when you're singing, there's something so sincere about the way she sings that just pulls you right into what she's trying to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's fun. And she got nominated for a Grammy for that record, which
That's so
proud
good.
for her. And, you know, it's just, you watch an artist like that and they kind of struggle to find their footing and get a hit and get embraced by radio and all the things that you need to have happen to have a big career, what have you. But, you know, at the end of the day, whether any of that happens or all of it happens, it doesn't take a note away from her greatness.
I quote you every night on stage in Vegas.
Really?
Because me and Reba.
You gonna finish? You gonna eat the rest of that dinner show?
I love that. No, me and Reba, we've you know, her and Ronnie have always done the big ballads, the big vocal things together, and Reba and I have always done just crazy, wacky stuff on stage together. And I convinced her to do a duet with me on "You're Gonna Miss Me" for this show we're doing. But I tell the story that I was asking you about songs, and you said there's only two kind. There's songs that matter, and there's zippity doo dah.
Yeah, that's Townes Van Zandt.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
The blues and zippity doo dah. He said, "I don't do zippity doo dah."
So that's how I get around to us singing. You know, I said. So I asked her if she'd do something with what matters, and Reba goes, "Well, do you have one?" Yeah. and we do that song. But I only bring that up because you got a lot of songs that matter here, and no zippity doo dah. But you do have one you wrote with Big Al, and if I'm not mistaken, because Sonny Landreth, is that him playing guitar on that? Who's
on
playing
the new record?
Uh-huh.
He played on a song called oh my gosh.
Make You Feel Real Good. Who's that playing slide?
Oh, that's me.
It is?
I'm
Oh,
not playing slide. Is there
It
a
isn't?
slide on that? Oh, that's probably Dean Parks.
Okay.
Dean Parks, yeah.
Because I thought I'd read somewhere where you got Sonny to play on
He
something.
did. He played on another track.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sorry, but the title escapes me.
Cool. I just
Maybe it'll
heard that
come.
going on, and it's kind of his style. I'm like, is that him or not? But he wasn't listed on the track, so I said maybe not. I was just going to.
No, I think that's actually me that's emulating a slide, and I'm not really playing a slide. But
It's cool. It
One of the
sounds
parts.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's some kind of talented man. I
Sonny Landreth?
love that guy.
Yeah, you know, being a swamper, we've run into each other, and we did a thing for help me, Elvis's guitar player.
James Burton.
Yeah, James
I
Burton
did
does
one
a
of
thing
those.
to raise money for the kids
I've been down there
there.
in Shreveport.
Yeah,
Done that one.
and Sonny was down there, and then I stayed and did a show the next night, and he, embarrassingly enough, opened for me. But man, and I've always worshipped him. I mean, he's always been the big brother down there. Could and still can smoke me anything I try to do. You know.
He's just one of those players that he found a new way to play the instrument. You know. And,
Yeah.
And that's, to me, when somebody like that comes along and somebody that doesn't just come play the same blues licks we all play. He's really of
And
another
tone
world.
stuff, and it's
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of that, you know, it's from a Stevie Ray mindset to me. You know, it's just a little tougher than just cool slide playing too.
Yeah,
You know,
it's a musical thing, and I like his voice too.
yeah, me
I don't
too.
think people give his voice the credit it deserves, but he's a cool singer, and I've been listening to his records forever. And then once I started doing the things with Eric Clapton and those Crossroads shows, we've been great friends now for a long time, and played on a few of his records, and now he's come played on one of mine, and we're good mates.
That's great, man. He's a cool dude. And well, speaking of guitar stuff, so you're getting on the Guitar Center walk, which I had to ask you about. I mean, that's
fun.
damn near Hall of Fame, isn't it? I mean, when you think about the guys that make that list, that's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, there are not a lot of hillbilly guitar players.
No kidding, no kidding. What's that ceremony like? I mean,
Oh, it's pretty simple. It's
Yeah?
just at the store and handful of people.
sell some stuff. And
Yeah, it was fun. Exactly. What do you want for that? I mean, Joe Walsh was kind enough to come down and do the induction. He wound up buying 4 old guitars while he was there.
Oh, that's great.
So he said, "You cost me a lot of money."
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, we'll get Joe down here. He'll buy some stuff, and he played on my last record, and me and all my ignorance, it wasn't. He came to town not long after that, and he left a message on my voice machine. Said, "Hey man, it's Joe, and do you think would you want to come to my brother-in-law's birthday party?" I'm like, yeah, I guess.
Who's your brother-in-law?
Yeah,
It's the guy named Ringo.
Ringo was wondering if you could sing on "A Little Help from My Friends." Like, oh, holy, forgot about the Bach sisters. Dang
They
it.
married sisters, hanging with a Beatle.
And this new single, and please don't take offense, but I just, it's got that really cool 70s
Fleetwood Mac.
that vibe to it. And then on top of it, you put Little Big Town on there, which I know that's their whole scene, man. And you made a scene out of that record. It's a really, really cool record.
Well, thanks. I've been teasing people. I said, my hope is that it becomes a big enough hit that Fleetwood Mac will sue me. But those are, I think it's important to emulate things that you've learned in your past, and Rumors was one of the greatest records ever made.
Yeah.
One of the top 5 albums ever made, and Little Big Town was you know what it's like to make records. You're casting the right part for the right song, and you couldn't find 4 singers that would be better suited for that song, style of that song, and
it is
with the parts I helped them and this and that, and I said we're going for some of that.
Yeah, it's
that
a vibe, and it's nothing like any of those songs. It's just, and for all of us that love that vibe then, like the millions of people that did, it's real refreshing to hear it again.
Yeah, we're in a world where you don't find a lot of melodies.
Mm-hmm.
In songs you get more of a brooding, moody kind of, and I'm not a hater of hip hop, but you have to understand a lot of these young people, that was part of their childhood. It was a huge part of their childhood growing up. So it's only natural that that's what they gravitate towards, and I'm all for them.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say the same thing. It's like, I'm one of those guys that'll defend. I mean, especially when I listen to these songs and the lines going by on, doing the countdown show, I'm like, these guys are writing good.
What'd you say?
I mean, yeah, but these songs are good, and especially when you hear, like John 3:16 and American Kids and some of those songs, I listen to the rhymes and the way they're put together, and I'm like, holy cow, you guys are getting real good at this, aren't you?
We're not good at that much information. We're a little, our past is a little
lot of
slower paced.
furniture in that house, But I don't know what Mr. Roy would say, but same thing, just like you. I know I grew up on Allman Brothers and all those things, and I was banging on my guitar way too loud when I got here, and it wasn't going to change. And I remember the first time I saw you play, just eating a telly up, playing with Rodney. I'm like, good grief, who is that guy?
That was at Bogey's.
It was, yes.
Over in Lion's Head.
It was.
I remember that's been over 30 years ago.
I know it. But hey, if they're having fun and they got a stadium full of kids having fun, let them eat.
Exactly right, man. It's their joy, and why be a cynic? Life's too short.
I love your attitude. And by the way, I talked to Leslie Satcher right before I came over here.
Yeah?
She said, tell my big brother, hey.
Tell Junior, hey. She calls me Junior. She's all the Texas you'll ever need.
I know it, but ain't it the truth? Y'all got some great songs on here, too.
Thanks,
I could go on and on with every track, but good luck with it all. And thanks for coming by, man.
Great
good
to catch up. Old friend.
All right.
See you, bud.